Okay, I know it's been a while, but we're back. And let's pick up right where we left off, right? What the heck? Let's start with sculpting some fairy toes, because what else do you do on a rainy day? Is it raining? Does it matter? Nah, let's go for it. Basically, I just roughly model out the shape through box modeling, and then I bring it into sculpt mode, I remesh it, and then I just start sculpting out toes. Nothing super complicated here. Anatomy is really important. You got to know that, or no matter what medium you sculpt in, you're going to have troubles. So, hit those anatomy books. And here you go. You see me sculpting individual toes. I'm working on the big toe. And actually, one of the things that I find about sculpting in Blender that always messes me up is you can't really tell the scale of things while you're sculpting. I always get them blown out of proportion. These toes are really, really tiny. I resin printed this, so a lot of the detail does come out. But those toes are probably 1/4 of an inch long, if that much. Now on the screen they look gigantic, especially since I have a 27-inch monitor. It looks huge. And I got to keep reminding myself that I'm sculpting tiny detail that's going to get miniaturized in the end. So that's one thing you do have to keep an eye on as you're working. And here you can see I'm just cutting out the toes, putting in the individual details, and moving on to the next one. Not a super lot to say about this. Although, little details like this I do find is still really important. It's not something that people are going to focus on, but if it's not done well, and it's not in proportion, and it doesn't fit with the rest of the sculpture, it's going to stick out and it's going to make the piece look weird. So I like to pay attention to even the tiniest little details, which is probably why I didn't do the toes individually in this particular thing, because they're gonna be so small. That tiny little space in between the toes is gonna be hardly seen. You know how they're connected like that? It's gonna be almost unnoticeable. I should stick in a picture of the actual toes, the actual printed and painted piece, so you can see. I'll try to remember to do that. Just how small they are in real life. But it's part of the figure, and you got to get it all right, or it looks weird. Okay, and keep in mind, there is nothing wrong with using reference. I just faked it on this, but I've been doing stuff like this for a while. I checked, and if you Google female toes, it's not as scary as you might think. I didn't get anything really frightening. So there's plenty of reference out there that you can use, and there's no harm in using it. Nobody knows everything. You do what you gotta to get the piece finished and finished well. That's the important part. So we're doing some toenails here. You get the detail in real nice. I didn't go too crazy on this. I just wanted like the presence of a nail, because like I said, teeny, teeny, tiny. Not really going to be seen, and not the focus of the sculpture. So there's so much going on in this one with flowers and a butterfly. This is going to be the last thing they're going to look at, but still, I like to get a certain level of detail in there. Okay, we're coming to the end of this video. I'm going to keep it short. This is just the all foot. We'll go back to the body for the rest of it, and I'll see you next time. Any questions? Please feel free to leave me a comment. I'm happy to help if I can.